Later on, we'll be going to the Okoa Kenya offices for a press briefing there from NASA. But quickly, let's just get back to the conversation before we take a break. The list of the leadership in the National Assembly that continues to bring in very disgruntled voices in NASA, Pamela. I just want to hear your thoughts first about that list.
Okay, I want to say that that list was hatched, and I think what happened, what my colleagues expressed, everybody saw. It was not a secret that people were unhappy. And again, as a democratic movement, I think I like it that we have the space. So people have got the chance to say, I'm not happy with this, and I'm not happy with that. And as I sit here today, I think I may not want to comment much about that list because that discrepancy or that unhappiness has been taken seriously. And I know we are working on that list in some way or another. Somebody is handling the issue. So I think I want to reiterate that, one, it is right for people to express that there should be that regional balance and gender balance and, again, not even just balancing. To me, leadership is all about quality, what somebody can offer. If we can go for that, I think we will be all right. But as I have said, I know that issue is being handled, and I would want to request the public and even the Jubilee side especially. I know it gives a nice fodder even to the press, like there are cracks in NASA. But there are really no cracks in NASA. That one I can assure you. That's why even now there is that presser that we are all waiting for. There are issues that are being discussed and some agreement has to be forged forward. So even that list, yes, there are those people who are unhappy with it. But again, as a leader and as somebody who also know that sometimes you may not offer solutions to all the problems that exist, it is not right to wash linen in public. I think all of us know that. And like I was telling you, I'm here talking to you on tele. How do you know if I disagreed with my husband in the morning before I came here? I can't come here and start saying, oh, we disagreed and a gloomy face. There are some things that must be handled in the right perspective. Okay. So I know this list is being worked on, and it is true that that discrepancy, I mean, that discontentment is there, and NASA is working on it.
You seem to be very unlucky. I need to cut you short quickly so that we can go to NASA, but I promise to start with you when we get back. Let's just take a look at that press briefing at the Okoa Kenya offices. Currently, they are being addressed by former Machakos Senator Johnston Muthama.
Driving has severely been cited as a major contributor.
Yes. Huh? Yes. It's a very big good morning to everybody. And at the same time, we wish to apologize for being late. We indicated that this meeting would, this statement or issuing of this statement will take place at 10 o'clock. So time has passed. There were issues which we could not avoid. So we invited you so that we can issue a statement to Kenyans on the way forward, since there has been questions on where are we and what is expected from NASA. So we have a press statement here which is going to be read by Bonnie Halwale, who is a co-chair of the NASA coalition. And thereafter, we'll be guided by Dennis Onyango on questions, and we'll respond to them. Bonnie.
Thank you. Today we are here to announce the next major milestone in the establishment of People's Assembly, the unveiling of the organizing committee. We wish to make it very clear that Kenyans cannot and shall not accept the blatant usurpation of power by the Jubilee administration and its determined effort to revert this great nation to an authoritarian rule and the attendant abuse of our human rights. This unashamed abuse was plain for all the world to see when we sought to hold a peaceful memorial service for 26 supporters who were killed by trigger-happy security forces. Their only crime was to welcome our leader, the Right Honorable Raila Odinga, upon his return from overseas engagement. The state unleashed its security forces again on Tuesday, the 28th November, to stop them from mourning their departed compatriots. It cost 5 more lives, including that of a 7-year-old boy by name Geoffrey Mutinda, who was shot as he played on the balcony at his parents' home, shot by the same police that was expected to protect him. Their blood demands that there must be change in Kenya, and we, the people, as their fathers, as their mothers, spouses, sisters, their brothers, have resolved that electoral justice is a reality in Kenya. Majority of the Kenyans did not participate in, and neither do they recognize, the October 26 presidential election. Hence, as per Article 1(1) of the Constitution, have not individually and collectively delegated their sovereignty to Uhuru Kenyatta. We assert, as per Article 1 of the Constitution, the right of the citizens to exercise their sovereignty at the county level is not subject to supervision or veto by the national government. As we embark on the final pillar of restoring democracy, just government and legitimate leadership, the following individuals will deliberate on and produce the roadmap towards the achievements of those objectives through the People's Assembly, which will lead us to a free and fair election or the path of self-determination. They are Dr. David Ndi, MS Judy Sijeni, Hamida Kibwana, Dr. Mutaha Kangu, Dr. Odwor Ongwen, Koitamet Olekina, and Mr. Peter Mathuki. The work of this organizing committee will be to guide, facilitate, and coordinate the programs of the various assemblies across the country. It will further set up an oversight and a national secretariat that will be the center for the activities of this assembly, amongst other duties. I thank you all.
Do you want it in Swahili? Can we try to put it in Swahili? Leo ikiwa ni tarehe mosi ya mwezi wa 12 mwaka 2017, tumewatahadharisha kama nyinyi waandishi wa habari kwamba tungependa kutoa taarifa kwa Wakenya kupitia muungano wa NASA wa taifa letu. Sisi tunataka kuwaambia Wakenya kwa wazi kwamba Wakenya wamekataa na wanaendelea kukataa uwezo na nguvu inayotumiwa na serikali ya Jubilee, wa huku wakiendelea kutukana mamlaka na madaraka waliopewa na katiba yetu.
Well, that is a press briefing being addressed there by former Kakamega Senator and former Machakos Senator Boni Halwale. And Johnston Muthama, respectively, just giving out the names of those who will be members of the organizing committee for the People's Assembly, one of them being NASA technical strategist David Ndii. We also have members like Peter Mathuki, who was the running mate to Avinya Ndeti in the Machakos gubernatorial race. And of course, Patrick Amimo, our senior reporter, will be giving us those details later on in the program. Rehema, I promised to start with you once we got back on your thoughts on the list. She says that there are no cracks in NASA, but what do you think?
I think my colleague here was really struggling to explain about the cracks. That's on a light note. However, I must say I think NASA really seriously need dialogue, even before they think of dialoguing with Jubilee. The reason why I'm saying this is because it is not the first time, first of all, for that list to have been brought to Parliament, as it is. And if she can bear me witness, it was brought, and then it was cancelled again. It was rebrought, I think.
This is the National Assembly leadership.
The National Assembly leadership. Yes. With the same, I think maybe just few changes here and there, but still the list had men dominated in it. And I think it was taken back again. And just before the Parliament went on recess, the Speaker read a lengthy communication explaining the up and forth about the NASA leadership, House leadership. It was a shocker when the list came back as it is, because first of all, on the NASA side, we expected at least to see some sort of, balance in terms of regional representation, in terms of gender, because they have a pool of very, very strong, vibrant women in it.
Yeah, one of them is here.
And one of them is here, really. And I would really have wished to have seen her name there. So when the name came as it is and it lacked women, I'm sure you've seen it. It was live. Most of the people really expressed their anger. Going forward, really, I'm just hoping that they will put their house in order and ensure that women are given space. If you look at Jubilee's leadership, you will appreciate that, for example, in Senate, we have the majority deputy leader, who is the senator from my county, Fatuma Dulo, who is a woman. The majority whip in the Senate is a woman, Susan Kihika. Back to Parliament, we have Cecil Imberire, who is a deputy majority leader. We have Naomi Shaban. So really, I think this time, Jubilee has gotten it right in terms of representation of women. And for me, without, looking like I'm really hard on Pamela here, I think one thing they need to appreciate is that NASA is a coalition of parties. And I was meant to understand from political party that they have a pre-election kind of a coalition. And for this coalition of NASA to hold, I think it's only fair, ODM stops dominating, position. And, politics being dynamics and politics being about interest, I am just, trying to politely say, when my sister here is saying there is no crack, I think going forward, I don't see NASA lasting beyond, this. Take it to the bank.
You don't think they will survive this?
They will not survive.
Because major conversations have been surrounding one, that this list is ODM dominated and there are other parties there.
Exactly.
The second one is the regional balance.
For example,
because
we have 17
the
members of
region,
Parliament.
Even in the leadership, they say that we have completely been ignored and we voted overwhelmingly for the opposition.
I think, colleagues, I want to disagree to some extent. I think, one, to put records right, the reason for the withdrawal of the first list that was brought was not necessarily because of the names of the regional representations. In fact, the truth is, some of the names that featured this time round were not even in that list. The issue was, I told you earlier, all of us as NASA, we were thinking it was not time to scramble for or to talk about the position. NASA has been saying, and even right now, you've heard that phrase statement that there is this position we are holding that all these things that are happening, the inauguration, the what, we are contending it. And so at that point, there was these elections to go on and these reforms to be taken and the presidential issue to be brought to a knot. And I think that was the main issue that informed not submitting of those lists. And as far as I know, when we had this induction session, there was that suggestion. I mean, there was a chance to somebody to stand in for the opposition side to give some address. And I think that is how Honorable Mbadi's name came in. And I think it was just that name. So I want to plead with my sister here on behalf of Jubilee. Let us stop exaggerating things and dancing when your opponents seem to have some small issues. As I had said, NASA is a democratic coalition. And I think even the space that people have to openly express their dissentiments or their unhappiness about what is happening or what has been done, perceived to be done wrong by their leaders. To me, that is still a plus, and we should encourage it. And as I sit here, I know that unhappiness has been registered. However, even as we talk about these 4 positions, yes, I think somebody raised it in Parliament, and it was even noted that, yes, the representation of the women is lacking. Yes. And I think even as women in NASA, we have pointed that out. So what I want to say here is, let Jubilee, led by my sister here, not feel like now they are the ones who should be telling us what we need to do. The issue is, I said, much as we are NASAs, we may have these different perceptions. I think what is there is just different perception, because even this idea of ODM dominating, I think in that list, who are the ODM members? It is only Mbade and I think Junet. The rest of them are from the other parties. So why are we exaggerating things? I'm ODM, I'm not in that list. And that does not mean. I know there are still other positions to come. There are chairpersons of committees that are there. Those are also positions. There is the PSC positions. That's which have also not been... no, why are you... It's not been named. Who told you it is taken? I mean, we can't jump the gun. Let us wait for NASA. NASA is handling it. We are capable of handling those issues, and it is being handled for real. And where there is a complaint and a genuine one, what Jubilee is doing now is simply to capitalize on that and make it another political mileage. Of course, I have said earlier, and all of us in NASA are saying, we want more featuring of the women. And that is why even this morning, we thank you that you brought us, the women here, for the world to see that we are recognizing the women, we can contribute, we can perform, we can do this and this. When there is a small discrepancy, like those positions that are being fought of, there is the issue of the minority leadership, yes, and then the whip. There are only 4. And how many are we really in NASA? Not all of us can be there. And the issue of the coast, I think the coastal people already made their demand, and it was known, and we know what is being given to them. And therefore, this idea of exaggerating noise that there is a big crack. I have children, I've declared here before, many children. Many of the times you do things as a mother or a father, and not all these children can be happy at the same time. But you can organize things and make things work. So I really would wish to request Rehema here. Rehema, you were once ODM. And I know even today, if you were not supported or given what you want in Jubilee, you would move again now that you are a politician. So when we are on this side of the river, we should not really throw mud like now you have all the solutions. Jubilee does not have these solutions. And I know even in Jubilee there is a big struggle. Like even now that list of cabinet, I know the things that are happening. Like, look, we are really insisting that Jubilee has included every Kenyan regional.
I just want to make one point very clear for her.
Just a minute. I will give you the chance. But in that whole list, I'm glad you even read that Ayala list from the perspective of the region where they come from. I never had Nyanza, I never had Kajiado, I never had even the coast. So right now, what you are doing is simply trying to make the coastal people feel like you want them on board. But there are people who have been supporting Jubilee in coast. I know people who are supporting NASA Jubilee in Nyanza. Where are their names on that list? So let us not stereotype everything and make it look like, hey, NASA has did a very serious mistake that cannot be met. It can be met, it can be rectified, if it can be. The people in NASA, I'm glad that despite what everybody says about our leader, Raila Amolo Odinga, he allows us the space to talk and say what we think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's
Just before you move to your next question.
Just react to, yes, just react to that.
You know, I'm happy she mentioned that I was once in ODM, and I know the levels of engagement in ODM, in as far as even democratic spaces are concerned. Having said that, I think what Pamela needs to understand is that NASA, as a parliamentary group, has a structure in the name of parliamentary group, which is supposed to make a decision in terms of leadership in their houses and even the committees and stuff like that. I think their main problem is because they are controlled from outside. And actually, I would have really been happy if they had nominated maybe the Prime Minister or former Vice President Kalonzo Musyoka to Yala or to any of the parliamentary position. That way, it would have even been easy, you know, for this decision to be made. But now, we are looking at a situation where here are members of parliament who have a mandate from the people, you know, to represent, to make decisions. But on the other hand, their hands are tied. They have to be controlled. Honestly, I think that is their main problem, in my objective view. Back to Jubilee. Well, we have 5. And
first of all, are we saying that in Jubilee, really,
I was coming
there's
to
no
that.
this control from the leadership?
No, really, let me tell you, at least the difference between Jubilee and NASA is that Jubilee, we have a head of state who is in the office and who is part of the parliamentary group in as far as decision-making are concerned. So decisions like this, when they have to be made, we will be whipped to State House. We will all raise our hands, contribute, and then at the end of the day, we come up with a consensus. It is not always, you know, the difference between us and them is that they have somebody who is controlling them who does not have the mandate. And I guess you know what I'm talking about. Back to what she said about, you know, Jubilee not being representative enough, we still have other positions to share because given, you know, democracy, we are currently the ruling party. We have the cabinets to be appointed. And give us a credit. As it was, it had met the threshold in terms of gender and regional balance. And I think those, yes.
It has not.
It has.
All right. I understand.
And as
closing comments.
As we go forward, I think those who will not be accommodated in Yala will find themselves accommodated at the cabinet.
So is
or
NASA.
Unfortunately, the answer does not have
30
cabinet.
seconds to just wrap it up for us.
Rehema, with all the due respect, let's not mislead the nation. We agreed as women, we must remain as objective as possible. Even all these people, let me tell you, insinuating that we should have appointed our head of the nation, our president Raila Amolo Odinga, to a parliamentary seat, I think that is a disrespect, to say the least, and I hope you will find a way of withdrawing that statement. We are saying that as NASA we also meet. Coming to TV here to start lecturing us and telling us like we should be doing this, we meet, our parliamentary group, we meet and talk. And we express these issues. So the fact that something has been done and somebody thinks they are happy, you know, we can't get it all. We can't get it all.
All right.
So we need to teach ourselves that when there are problems, we don't have also to throw unnecessary tantrums.
All right.
I think as a leader and as a woman, I abhor that and I wouldn't allow it.
All right, ladies,
Thank
we
you.
have to wrap it up. It's been very interesting having you two here today. I hope we'll do this some other time. Pamela Odhiambo is a Women Rep Migori, and Rehema Dida is a Women Rep Isiolo. Ladies, thank you very much for coming in. Peace offering. Thank you very much.
No, we are friends.
But I appreciate you. Thank you very much for coming in. We'll definitely continue to engage. This is a conversation that cannot be exhausted in only one sitting.
Sure.
But let's now take a look at that list.